Every day I receive tons of messages from customers having issues in making their amigurumis. And by analyzing these questions, I came to the conclusion that the issues that I'm explaining in this video are common to almost all of them. Hi everyone, and welcome back to Crochet Mistakes. If you are new here, I am Bianca and I love sharing my passion for amigurumis with you. And today we're talking about something very important. I gathered top 5 mistakes that I see people commit when they start with amigurumis. And trust me, I've been there, and my goal is to help you avoid committing these pitfalls. So, mistake number 1. When I started crocheting amigurumis, I thought any yarn would do. But let me tell you something. The type of yarn that you choose can make a huge difference in your amigurumi project. So always go to a yarn that's smooth and not too fuzzy, like these ones that I have here. And even this one, which is very famous among crocheters, and I'm not talking about the brand, I'm talking about the yarn type. This is 100% polyester, and let me see, this one is 100% polyester too, which I strongly do not recommend for beginners. You cannot see the stitches properly, so this is not a beginner-friendly yarn for amigurumis, I would say. And I know it can be very tempting because these yarns, they are so beautiful and I love them. I love the touch, the feeling of this yarn. It's so soft. This is Honey Bunny, this is Alize, and these are amazing yarns for plushy amigurumi dolls. But I do not recommend, if you're just starting with amigurumis, to work with this type of yarn because it can be very difficult to see the stitches properly and you might get frustrated if you start with this type of yarn. So mistake number 1 that you should avoid is choosing the wrong yarn. And now moving on to mistake number 2, I feel that I cannot stress this enough. Always count your stitches. It's very easy to lose track in your amigurumis because we work in continuous rounds. So before you know it, you have an amigurumi that looks a bit odd. So my tip here, every time you finish a round, count your stitches. It gets intuitive after a while. I don't do this anymore, honestly. I only count my stitches if it's like it changes a lot from one round to the other, but if it's something more continuous, I do not count. But I'm an experienced crocheter. I've been doing this for a long time. But if you're a beginner, count your stitches. And this is exactly what I did when I started back in 2015, 16. Yeah, but yeah, it's very important to count the stitches in every round just to make sure that you didn't skip any single crochet, any increase or decrease in the round. So mistake number 2 to avoid, not counting your stitches. Now mistake number 3 is totally related to our mistake number 2, and I already mentioned, when we are working in continuous rounds, it's very easy to get lost. And it's different from when you're working in rows. Working in rows, it's way easier to keep track in where you are in the crochet pattern. So in this case, the stitch marker will be your best friend. You can always use a scrap of yarn to mark the first or the last stitch of the round, whatever you prefer to do. I like to use stitch markers and I have tons of stitch markers here with me, but my husband, for example, he knows how to crochet. This is something that he really likes to do. He never liked using stitch markers. I bought different brands and different shapes, different styles, but he doesn't like any of them. He prefers to use scrap of yarns, and that's totally fine because the important thing here is to mark the beginning of the round or the end of the round if that's what you prefer to do. So to sum up, mistake number 3, not using the stitch marker. Moving forward in our list, it's all about finding that Goldilocks zone. Not too much and not too little. Yeah guys, I'm talking about stuffing here. As you know, I recently made a video talking about how to stuff your amigurumi correctly, and I'll leave the link here in the description so you can check this video too, because this is the sentence that I always say. people take stuffing for granted. This is way more important than usually people think. There are some good techniques to help you stuff your amigurumi correctly, and I teach all these techniques in this video, but yeah, don't underestimate how important stuffing is. And this is mistake number 4, not stuffing correctly. Well, if you're still here with me, please comment down below the biggest mistake you have ever committed with your amigurumis, because I would love to hear from you. But I promised you 5 mistakes, and now let's move on to the last one, because the last mistake to avoid is, well, amigurumis are challenging, and every mistake is a learning opportunity. This is something that I say quite a lot. You have to keep practicing to improve. No one starts playing in an orchestra after their first attempt playing the violin, or go to the Olympic Games without practicing enough. All skills and abilities require lots of practice. And this is something that we forget when it comes to crochet. That is our hobby, and this is something that gives us pleasure. All skills and abilities require time and dedication. It's the same with crochet. So mistake number 5 is giving up too soon. And I've seen it happening a couple of times. People want to achieve perfection in their first attempt. But as a new skill, it takes time to develop. Crochet is a therapeutic hobby, and it's also my job now, but I cannot see myself without it anymore. It really saved me from some dark moments in my life. I love when people send me messages or emails sharing their stories with me, why they learned how to crochet, how crochet helped them during depression, anxiety, or loss in their family. Because this is what I believe. I truly believe in the power of this craft, because crochet made my life so much better, and I really wish that no one gave up that easily, because I know how powerful it can be. You see how passionate I am about it. Crochet has a unique value in my life, and all I wish is that I could pass this message to as many people as possible. But that's it. Without getting too emotional, I'll leave you with this other video here, because I know it will help you too.